Internet, Eric here. Rachel's over there.
Woo.
We are back with another.
I just did that.
She's retarded. We're back with another Please Don't Make Me Watch. It's not been 2 months since the last one,
like it took us before.
This time it was Rachel's turn. If you have been following along in this playlist, the last movie we watched was my choice, and I made her watch Cannibal the Musical. And she didn't hate it, but she obviously never wants to watch it again. So her idea of revenge was 1982's Annie.
Now let's be reminded, you had a choice, and you decided to let our daughter pick. And she picked that one because she could watch it too.
Right, and well, the thing is, either way, I'm gonna watch. Just like when you watch next episode.
No, I just want you to know that it really wasn't my pick. It was her daughter's pick.
She's blaming our daughter, even though she was gonna make me watch this eventually, so it doesn't fucking matter. Anyways, new to this channel, plot spoilers, whatever. Everyone knows who the fuck Annie is.
If you don't, you've been under a rock.
I had no desire to watch this because it is a musical. I'm not a big fan of musicals unless it's like non-traditional musicals like Cannibal the Musical, Little Shop of Horrors, Sweeney Todd, South Park, that type of stuff.
Let's just recap real fast. It's the Annie from the 80s.
Yes, this is the one from 1982. Not the remade one with Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx
and not the remake one with Nell Carter.
They did one with Nell Carter?
Yeah.
Are you sure that wasn't the sequel?
I don't think there was a sequel.
Well, they made a sequel to this with the girl that was in Growing Pains. The creepy looking redheaded girl?
No.
Okay.
I don't think
well,
so.
I guess there's more Annie adaptations than I
know she was in one of them.
Anyways, had no desire to see this because it was a typical musical. The only typical musical that I do like is Wizard of Oz, but that's Wizard of Oz. Who doesn't like Wizard of Oz, if not loves it? Basic plot of this is, like, with this series of Please Don't Make Me Watch, the person who is forced to watch the movie that they don't want to watch has to try their best to give the synopsis of the film. And
the what?
The rundown, synopsis, however you pronounce it. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm tired. So we're following Annie. She's an orphan. She lives at the orphanage with Miss Hannigan, who is this crazy drunk, played by Carol Burnette.
Who's awesome.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
And for some reason, Daddy Warbucks, who is played by Albert Finney, has an assistant, and he wants to let an orphan live in his house for a week so they can get used to the extravagant lifestyle. And then Tim Curry, who is Carol Burnett's boyfriend, brother, Rooster, breaks out of prison, and he's got Bernadette Peters with him. And they're shysters, and they pretend to be Annie's parents so they can get a reward because Daddy Warbucks wants to help find Annie's real parents.
You're on the right track.
But then eventually, wait till I'm done, but then eventually, Daddy Warbucks falls in love with Annie, not in that type of way. He falls in love with her as like a father figure, and then he adopts her, but she gets kidnapped by Tim Curry, and then Tim Curry tries to kill her, and then they have a celebration when she's rescued at the end, and Carol Burnette rides an elephant.
You're close.
Okay.
You're pretty close. The only differences I would say is the part about Daddy Warbucks is they want to kind of like enlighten his image a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So
because we definitely have to talk about Warbucks' image or how he is for sure. But.
So in order to do that, they thought it was a good idea to have an orphan come stay with him for a week to improve his image and things like that.
All right. Oh, I was close.
So, yeah, you were pretty close.
Okay.
And I think Tim Curry, they say at one part, he said that he was released on account of his good behavior.
Okay, I just assumed he escaped.
Yeah.
Anyways, didn't really want to watch this, had no desire ever. My mom loves this movie. Never wanted to watch it as a kid.
I love that movie.
Rachel loves this movie. Never wanted to watch it. When I decided to create this idea for the YouTube channel, I knew I'd end up fucking watching it. We watched it. Wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
But there's reasons, okay?
Yes, there were some chuckles.
Okay.
I know.
First off, Annie, don't really care for her. She's
a normal kid.
When she has to be like the tough, like streetwise rapscallion, I don't buy it. She puts up her dukes and all that stuff. She tries to be the tough kid. I don't buy that at all. I'm not a big fan of her singing voice, other than Tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't really care about that. But she is very likable and very sweet when she's with Daddy Warbucks.
Mm-hmm.
I believe her when she's scared running from Tim Curry. So, hit and miss. Let's go to we'll leave Albert Finney and Carol Burnett and Tim Curry for last.
Okay.
The girl who plays
Albert Finney's assistant.
I don't know her name.
We'll call her Grace because that's the name of her in the show.
Grace. She's fine. She's likable.
Mm-hmm.
She's his Warbucks' assistant. She falls in love with Annie as a mother figure. Eventually falls in love with Warbucks. Likable. She's fine.
Yeah.
Bernadette Peters is a very good comedic actress in this. She's really funny when she's with Tim Curry and Carol Burnett. Tim Curry is Tim Curry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picturing him kind of like an even more evil version of the not really the maitre d', but
and Clue.
No, I was not gonna say Clue, but the hotel manager in Home Alone 2, if you've ever seen that.
Oh, I haven't.
Okay, really good in that. He's really good at singing and dancing. I forgot, at the time I didn't even think about it. He sang and danced in Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I've never seen yet. But so he's really good in this. He plays well off of everybody. Carol Burnett is fucking awesome in this movie.
She's amazing.
She's hilarious. She's always fucking drunk, and she's not.
You don't want to like her.
Well, no, she's a piece of human garbage.
Right.
She's abusive to these kids. She slaps these kids. She drags one of them by their hair. She locks them in the closet for punishment.
Mm-hmm.
She is a horrible, horrible human being. But she's so goddamn funny in this.
I know.
I love her. She can sing. She can dance. She's got great chemistry with everybody in this movie. And what I was saying with her being a drunk, she's not the whole typical. You can tell she's not one of those, like, if you've ever seen someone who has to be a drunk, but you can tell has never drank before,
mm-hmm.
and they're just doing the stereotypical stuff, kind of like when someone gets high off of weed, and
mm-hmm.
They act like they're high, and all they say is they got the munchies and they giggle all the time.
Right.
She's not annoying in this. She's funny when she's drunk. She's funny when she's hungover. She's fantastic in this. She's a great singer. And then let's talk about Albert Finney as Daddy Warbucks. He is the most insane person in this movie, and I absolutely loved him.
So, yeah, like when you first meet up with him, you realize he's kind of the cranky, all about money kind of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously, with the love of Annie, he kind of softens his image a little bit.
And that's what's great is he is insane in this movie. When we first meet him, like the first 3 or 4 scenes we meet him, he's yelling and screaming. He doesn't give a shit about Annie. He forgets why Annie's here.
Right. Orphans are boys.
Exactly. He doesn't want a girl orphan. And that's great. And then when he does soften up and he buys Annie a locket, you believe him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the scene where he buys Annie a locket, like he just adopted her.
Right.
And he bought her a locket that says, love Daddy Warbucks. And she doesn't know about it, I don't think. But she doesn't want to accept anything from him because she thinks her family's going to come get her.
Right. She's unaware that they actually, spoiler.
It's spoilers. It fucking came out in 82.
They died in a house fire.
Right. But you see his heartbreaking and you believe it. When Annie is kidnapped by Tim Curry, you believe the fact that, okay, you know what, she left because he was tricked by Tim Curry, but he knew something was up. But he let her go, and you saw his heartbreaking, and then you realize that when he realizes she's kidnapped, he wants to do nothing but get her back, and he's fantastic in this. He's a great singer. He's a great dancer. He's got great chemistry with Carol Burnett.
I love the part when Carol Burnett she kind of, in a way, not really redeems herself, but kind of redeems herself at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
When Tim Curry is basically gonna do his darndest to kill
Yeah.
Annie.
Yeah, let's get into it before you say
Okay.
that. We'll get into the songs, obviously, but I didn't realize how fucking dark this movie was.
Yeah.
Because Rachel will go ahead and say it, but yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and talk about the scene you're talking about, because there's kidnapping in this.
Well, should I talk before leading up to the kidnapping?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can just talk about the Tim Curry scene if you want to.
Okay. Well, I'll start with when they plot.
Mm-hmm.
So Annie's parents, when they dropped her off at the orphanage, they gave her a locket and they broke off the other half, and said that they would come back for her as soon as they had some money, and that's the way she would remember. Well, obviously, her parents died in a fire, so they never came back to get her.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Curry, or Rooster, if you will, is hard up on money, as everybody else is, because this is during the Depression.
Yeah, this is like 1932 or 33 or something.
Right. Finds out that Daddy Warbucks put up a reward for Annie's parents to come look. So he goes to the orphanage impersonating Annie's parents. And then Miss Hannigan basically says, "Hey, I got logistics on every kid. I got, all these stuff." And she basically goes into the whole spiel of how Annie's parents died in a fire, and then they plot on how to get Annie out of it with the locket.
Yeah.
So as they're plotting, another little girl in the bathroom overhears them, and you hear Tim Curry say, "After we get the money, we'll just dump Annie in the river."
Yeah. So he's going to get the money, he's going to get the girl, and then he's going to fucking drown her.
Right.
So that's dark enough as it is. Then they kidnap her, and Carol Burnette, like I said, she's behind everything. Oh, she's involved with it. They're driving away. Tim Curry's got his hand over her mouth so she can't scream. Eventually she gets out, and she's got a check from Daddy Warbucks. And this is where it gets dark, because this was originally rated G, and they wanted a PG rating so they can get some parents in there to make more money. So when Annie's running away, you hear Tim Curry, which I didn't expect it, him saying, it's not that big a deal in 2020, but he's like, "You goddamn orphan, you goddamn kid, get back here."
Right. And
she rips up the check, and then he basically says, "I'm going to kill you."
Yeah.
And the part you were talking about with Carol Burnette, she redeems herself. She's a mean old crotchety drunk who hates children, but she doesn't want Annie to die.
Well, and that's basically what she says. She goes, "I may be a mean, something like, I may be a mean little drunk, but I'm not going to let you kill her."
Right.
And
then I already knew that Rooster was worse than Miss Hannigan, because there's a scene where he gets out and she's talking to Bernadette Peters.
Yeah.
And behind her back, Tim Curry's stealing money out of his own sister's purse.
Right.
Well, Tim Curry just fucking nails Carol Burnette in the face, knocks her out. He doesn't just knock her down; he knocks her out.
Right.
And then they're climbing up this railroad bridge. When a boat comes by and the bridge goes up like that. Holy fuck! He's gonna throw that little girl off the top of that bridge. I'm like, wow, this movie is really fucking dark, and I didn't expect that from Annie, and that was a bonus to this.
One person you have left out that you love.
Oh yes, I gotta talk.
Okay, say the name that you want to say first.
I gotta talk about, and then we'll be done with the characters, and then we'll move to the music, and then we'll be done with the video, because we only have maybe 10 minutes left of recording, because we've already talked about so much. Daddy Warbucks has 2 bodyguards. One is an Asian dude.
The Asp.
Who Rachel said his name is the Asp, like the snake. And he's basically the guy who trains in martial arts and drives them around. I was calling him Kato the whole time. And then there's this big tall fucker with a turban. And he's played by a black actor, I'm pretty sure. But he's got to be he's supposed to be, I'm sure, from the Indian or the Middle East. I was calling him Haji. Because he literally looks like Haji from Johnny Quest.
Zalabin.
Exactly. He knows magic. It's the same thing.
No.
But his name was Punjab. He is... When you take away the insanity of Daddy Warbucks and the crazy drunken Carol Burnette and Rooster and all them, he's the best character in this movie. He says nothing.
Not much, no.
He's all physical. He's scary. He knows magic. He can make toy airplanes fly and plants fly, I love the scene where they're trying to get Annie's parents to come out and claim her. And Daddy Warbucks is reading it verbatim, like the script.
Oh, on the radio?
On the radio. And Annie's being loud, and one of the producers runs at her, and Punjab just literally knocks him on the head. He falls out. And then another guy like yells at Daddy Warbucks, and he knocks the other guy.
Yeah.
And then he's very scary and intimidating, but he cares for Annie. He's the one that rescues her. Like, he takes his turban off, and he makes like a...
Use it as a rope, and he ties it around the helicopter.
Exactly. Great action scenes. And Annie. Wow. Okay. So we're done with all the characters. We're done with how dark it is. You can't talk Annie or do a discussion video on Annie without talking about the music.
You're going to say you don't like the music, but I love it.
Okay. Hear me out. I don't like the Hard Knock Life song.
What?
I don't like the kids' voices in this.
What?
But I love the choreography. When those kids are cleaning up and doing fucking backflips and somersaults on the bed and down the stairs, that's amazing. Don't like the song. It could be because when Jay-Z did some fucking popular song.
Yeah.
That could be it.
That might be why I love it, because I heard it before the Jay-Z song.
It's possible, but the choreography in that song is amazing. I call it the Family Guy song. When she goes into the mansion and all the... Because they did it in Family Guy.
Yeah.
When she meets all like the butlers and the maids and all this and that. It's an okay song. Fantastic choreography. What other song? The one song I do like is the song with Tim Curry and
Easy
Burnett and Carol Burnett, where they're talking about their plan, how to get to Easy Street. That's fun because
it's chemical.
Carol Burnett's always walking into the walls and going through the windows, and I love when they're dancing on the stairs. That's cool. I was surprised.
I like the Sandy song.
I hated the Sandy song when she's singing to the dog and call him stupid and stuff. And then, of course, the song that it's known for is Tomorrow. That's how the movie opens. That's how the movie closes. And it closes with a really good rendition of Tomorrow because everybody sings it. But the one time Annie sings it, she sings it to the president, FDR, played by Edward Herman, that you still don't believe is Edward Herman.
I didn't think that was him at all.
But I was surprised that the song was only in that part because I figured it would be like the theme of the movie because that's what everyone knows. So that was an okay performance. I didn't like how we're just supposed to accept the fact that Carol Burnett's, good now because...
Well, I think she probably...
She's a rotten woman.
Yes, I think Daddy Warbucks probably paid for her to get some help. Hence the party.
She was drunk at that party. She was riding an elephant and flirting with Punjab.
She was holding on to Haji, if you would call him.
But, I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed this movie. I don't ever need to watch it again. But if you and the kid had it on, I wouldn't leave the room. I might sit down and watch certain parts because there are certain parts of this I enjoy.
Better than Mr. Boogedy?
Well, yeah, because we're also going to do another thing in these videos, like which is worse. Is this worse than Mr. Boogedy? No. Mr. Boogedy was dumb. This I had a lot of fun with this one. Mr. Boogedy wasn't bad. It was just stupid. This was a lot of fun with the insane adults. Punjab.
Carol Burnett.
Like I said, Carol Burnett, insane Albert Finney. Overall, didn't give a shit about Annie. But then again, I'm biased towards child actors.
Gosh, I love that movie. We had the record. Yeah,
Rachel really loves it. I gotta say, Annie was fine. I had a good time with about 80% of the movie.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, your plan to torture me failed, but you were successful in getting me to like a musical that I never thought I would enjoy.
Good.
So, yeah, if I had to pick, is this worse than Mr. Boogedy? Absolutely not. I had a lot more fun with this than Mr. Boogedy. So, yep, that's it.
All right, tomorrow.
Tomorrow what?
Tomorrow.
You're such a dark. With that, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment below. All that crap. Tell me if you like Annie. Tell me if you hate Annie. Make fun of me for liking Annie. I don't care. We're gonna
let us know how our video is.
Yeah. We're gonna keep this going more and make these videos more. I don't want to say recent, but
We'll try to be more active.
We'll try to be more active with this idea than we have been. I might break Rachel with my next video, with the one I choose for her, but we'll save that for the next time. Like, subscribe, cheers, and Albert Finney's insane.
Mm-hmm.